Oh, God.
In this video, he claims that both he and the ancient Egyptians had discovered the same scientific ideas, writing that, quote, from a mathematical perspective, Giza, for want of a phrase, is both mathematically and geometrically perfect, and that it displays celestial accuracy beyond the value of human comprehension. Every calculation is perfect, all bound within a single 3D object. End quote. The final minute of the video displays a single slide declaring that gift to humanity. At the bottom, a short paragraph reads, quote, I also thank all those who have helped me along my journey. My time was limited and now drawn to an end. Help me to help you all. Stop war, greed, and lust for power, and I will offer you your future. End quote. Today, Nigel still occasionally attracts the attention of fringe science enthusiasts who believe in his dream of free, unlimited energy, and they are often excited by the
Oh my God.
to create some of his experiments, especially the battery-shaped quantum power cell. However, his theories are often disregarded in favor of other personalities eagerly sharing their own fringe ideas, with claims that Nigel's ideas were only partially correct, and that these new thinkers have more complete answers, a cycle that repeats itself endlessly. Some of these people managed to retain Nigel's lost papers and posts. This video was made possible by viewers supporting through Patreon and YouTube memberships, and by the game Star Sector. More about this personal favorite in the video.
For those who actually followed me, my name's Lloyd. I'm a professional investigator. Used to be a civilian.
On October 19, 2018, the channel Telephonet uploaded a video to YouTube titled 1 + 1 = 1, the video, Alien Energy. The top line of the description declared in all capital letters that this video was, quote, possibly the most important video you've ever seen. It opens with Nigel attempting to establish himself as the real Nigel, apparently to ward off imposters either current or potential. To do so, he presents 2 picture frames as evidence, as well as a multimeter, a device used to measure electrical current, claiming that it appears in a long-lost video with him. However, neither of the picture frames is legible, and there is no way to check whether or not the multimeter appeared with him in said missing video. Satisfied that he has rebuffed any skeptics and preempted any imposters, he informs his viewers that the information that follows has caused the death of at least one person, wrongly declared an accident, and establishes the framing device for his nearly hour-long lecture. He asserts the existence of a missing video in which he confronts, quote, a group of very, very high-level people, and begins recounting what he told them in this video many years ago. Here, he proudly proclaims his thesis that 1 + 1 = 1 because when you put 2 magnets together, you still only have 1 magnet, and that the same is true of an atom.
You have 1 + 1 = 1. And if you keep going all the way down to the atomic structure, right the way down to hydrogen, you end up with one neutron or proton equals one atom. And they went, oh, what can you do with that? I said, absolutely loads. That's why we're here. So not only did I trace the principle of Euclidean mathematics based on a magnet, I then went on to scare them.
Nigel also goes on to claim that people believe infinity to be 720 degrees because infinity is two circles next to one another, but he then denies this by drawing a magnetic field and explaining that there are actually four circles. Therefore, infinity is equal to 1440.
The problem with that is when you overlay it on the earthbound model of what you humans think you have, you think you've got that, which equals 720, and I've just proven as that, which is actually 2 times that, or twice infinity. Oops. That did upset an awful lot of physicists and mathematicians in the room.
After this, Nigel describes how he believes that he has refuted Einstein's theory of mass energy equivalence.
The closer you go, the more energy you get out. Bang, bomb, nuke, kill people, Hiroshima,
What?
the Americans. Right, we'll stay there. We'll take the magnet. It's not moving. It equates to 0. Therefore,
What?
0 times the constant equals 0. 0 times any number. 0. You know that. Well, if that was 0, there's no energy whatsoever. That magnet would fall on the floor, would break down. So the magnet defies E equals mc squared.
Much of the rest of Nigel's recounting follows a cycle. His audience of naval superiors asks him what he is doing, to which he responds by drawing on the whiteboard and explaining how he has refuted a foundational scientific theory or made some incredible revolutionary discovery. Next, the audience invariably reacts with a mixture of shock, horror, and anger, rebuking him by telling him that he cannot do what he is doing, either because it contradicts established science or because it will upset the balance of the world order. Nigel always gives a pithy response, directly insulting the intelligence of his superior officers and belittling their station. The audience then once again asks what Nigel is doing, and the cycle continues. Despite the gravity of Nigel's initial claims, he is far more interested in applying them to another discovery that he believes he has made: infinite energy, declaring that a magnet is creating energy by holding onto a whiteboard against the force of gravity. He identifies this as an example of cold fusion, because cold fusion is, as he puts it,
How to get energy at room temperature without doing anything. Oh, you can't actually get it, it's impossible. And I went, cold fusion. It's energy holding that on the board. It's cold, it's at room temperature. You're getting more out than you're putting in, you're not putting any in it, and it's energy because it's held in there and it's defying gravity, it's cold fusion. And they're going, I don't understand that. You're the one with all the degrees and the A's and you're the physicists and the mathematicians, and you can't even work that out. It doesn't make you very clever, does it? It just makes you very, very stupid.
Notably, Nigel's definition of cold fusion does not comport with the generally held definition.
My name is Kyle Hill. I'm a professional science educator in Los Angeles, California. I've been doing this for about 12 or 13 years now. I've won a couple of awards doing this, and I actually started my career looking into pseudoscientific inquiry. So cold fusion, it's unfortunately named because it has nothing to do with being cold for humans. Cold fusion is defined in relation to hot fusion. Hot fusion is what happens in fusion reactors when they're demonstrated. It's what happens in stars, like the sun in the sky. And that fusion happens at hundreds of millions of degrees. And so cold fusion is a lot colder than hundreds of millions of degrees, like he's saying correctly, at room temperature. Now, when he says do nothing, that is not true. You still have to fuse atoms together, and you still have to force those atoms together in some sort of way. Does he know what fusion is? Yeah, there's no fusion happening. Or is he just using it? Is he just using the term to mean free energy? Because when he puts that magnet on the board, there is energy there. There's gravitational potential energy. There's the interaction between the magnetic field and the material of the board. If he understood thermodynamics enough, he would know that even if you were creating an energetic environment, you can't get any energy out of the system by doing what you're doing. It doesn't matter. The ability to do work is, in a physical system, is what, the real power source is. Working from these assumptions, Nigel explained a method of chaining magnets together in order to produce a continuous, limitless source of power, describing the mechanics through more convoluted mathematics and geometry, and extrapolating his conclusions out into other fields, including the claim that ionized water carried with it immense health benefits.
As the water went across it would spin. But it would spin with inside a magnetic field, which is the inverse of the lens effect, and you would ionize the water. But when you ionize water and you drink it, Jesus, don't let the world know that you can fix cancer. It makes the pharmaceutical industry screw you. My job. I'm here to help you, but to not get fucking destroyed. That's what money is.
Among many other claims, he declared that magnetic fields are a double helix, and therefore they are the DNA of the universe because they have been around for a very long time. However, despite these groundbreaking assertions, he alleged that all of the work he had done was stolen by the Navy in a raid in order to suppress it.
So they changed the laws of the Navy, and they said that you work for us 24 hours. They demanded all my work. They come and raided my house. We stole all my magnets, all my paperwork. They took the fucking lot. Sorry for swearing, but that's what the Royal Navy does.
Beyond his scientific assertions, Nigel saw fit to share some more personal details of his life. Early on, he implied that he had historically had financial difficulty.
Me, like all of you lot, we've got a bank account. Me, like all of you lot, on occasions have gone in the red, which is a minus.
He also made his disdain for religion known.
Can't show you God. Will you believe that? I've showed it you here. Why don't you believe it? Check your own moral compass. Seeing is believing. Believing a lie is foolish.
As the video nears its end, Nigel reveals several notable details about himself, including that he had his child taken away from him and that he is now unemployed, reliant upon whom he calls charity people to sustain himself, though he leaves the nature of this charity unspecified.
Now, the Royal Navy have done their absolute best to destroy people. They tried to send me mad. They sent me to the most inhospitable places in faked war. They went as far as removing my child from me. So this video is a personal attack and retaliation against the Crown of England. And I'm a goddamn Englishman. I am the perfect English gentleman. And the Royal Navy, in their pirated, scumbag attitude, committed treason, not only against UK, but against every goddamn man and woman on this planet, by hiding that video for the last 37 years. They have made you pay. They have made you suffer for 37 years. Because I don't have a job, because the Navy told everybody never to employ me. I have charity people help me out.
Nigel's absurd claims and bombastic delivery attracted the attention of enthusiasts online interested in the concept of over-unity, a term referring to a system, usually a man-made device, that can create more energy than is put into it. The most common example of this is a perpetual motion machine, at which there have been numerous attempts throughout history. Years later, this video would find an audience among a different subculture, the debunkers, who would watch and comment on the ways that Nigel's explanations either misunderstood or contradicted modern science, often ridiculing him as they did so, while some of the more incredulous viewers left comments wondering whether or not he truly believed in the concepts he was espousing. What few could have expected, however, was that Nigel would so inspire this former community that he would allegedly raise over $150,000 from them to further his research, and those who believed in him would go on to repeat his experiments that seemed to prove the impossible. What fewer knew, however, was that this was not Nigel's first time attracting the attention of internet users. 5.5 years prior, Nigel had begun a fight for a much different and more personal cause. On March 11, 2013, a video was released on a YouTube channel then known as Eddie the Cat 7, titled NATO Chief Security Consultant, His Daughter Snatched by the UK Government. Linked in the description was a template-made website called Saving, whose homepage read, quote, "Welcome to our website. The British government has been child snatching in collusion with social services in flagrant breach of international law. Nigel Cooper, who used to be chief consultant for NATO security, has had his daughter stolen, and he's naming the names and tracking the digital signatures. Justices Moyland and Headley have caused the UK government to breach the Hague Convention, Lisbon Treaty, Maastricht Convention, Amsterdam Treaty, Paris Accord, London Treaty, Magna Carta." End quote. Beneath this declaration was a link to the aforementioned video, released contemporaneously, in which Nigel sits on a couch with a stack of papers that he identifies as a royal decree from the King of Belgium.
My name is Mr. Nigel Cooper. I'm the quintessential English gentleman. You may want to know why that I've chosen to have a video made in Holland rather than the UK. I can never return to the UK. The UK has put me into exile for 10 years. You may want to know why.
He introduces himself as having been the principal network security consultant for NATO and describes the process by which he legally gained custody of his infant daughter from her mother, Gail, whom Nigel decries as a drunk and drug addict. He explains that Gail managed to convince him that she had recovered from her addictions, which he claims was a lie, and talked her way into living with them again in Belgium. He then details the process by which Gail used bureaucratic trickery 3 years later to return to the UK with their child, and his own attempts at using international law in order to reclaim his daughter, to no avail. While the Belgian courts sided with Nigel, ruling against Gail in absentia and supporting Nigel's claims, the UK courts refused to honor the ruling and made their own conclusions. Throughout this description, Nigel continually reaffirms his unassailable virtue and Gail's moral bankruptcy, but he also details numerous bureaucratic setbacks. Much more than merely sharing his experience, he intersperses the 30-minute-long video with declarations that the UK has been kidnapping and selling children for profit and accusing each bureaucrat he's worked with of taking part in the conspiracy, invoking national and international treaties being violated, including the Magna Carta and the Hague Convention. However, despite his zeal, sometimes his descriptions of events leave significant ambiguity, and he fails to produce any evidence of the conspiracy he touts, despite describing recordings and electronic records.
Estelle Lou, if you search at the present time, is an active web page in Sunderland. 43,000% profit as a company stealing children. Your CV is a fake. Your master's degree is a fake. Your bachelor's degree is a fake. From the date that you said you were born, through a standard education and the time it takes to get a degree, you're a liar. You're a fake. You're a fraud.
What's more, despite declaring himself the perfect English gentleman and carrying a UK passport, he claims that he is completely Belgian and that his time in the Royal Navy was in service to humanity rather than the UK.
I don't belong to the UK. I never have, and I never will. I served 22 and a half years in the Royal Navy for the simple reason, for the freedom of the people of this planet, not for you to steal my daughter. I earned 13 medals in the name of my Queen for freedom and the protection of the children and citizens of the UK and Europe. I moved to NATO and served for 7 years as a principal consultant, protecting children wherever they are in the world under the hospice of NATO. And you stole my daughter. Stop right there, boys and girls. I'm not British. I'm Belgian. I am an habitual resident of Belgium.
He also makes a notable objection to a reason that a judge gave to prevent him from taking his daughter back to Belgium.
He further went on to say, because of my age. I beg your pardon, Justice Moylan. What gives you the right to turn around and tell me, or any person on this planet, how old they can be when they choose to start a family?
What's more, he declared that he could use the order he received from the Belgian courts and the King of Belgium to dismantle the entire government of the United Kingdom.
And I will use this judgment to bring down the UK, to free every single child in the UK that you stole. This was done for a reason. This is your silver bullet. I want this in every media, every TV station, because the UK has put an IP gag on the electronic borders of the UK in my name. I can't publish anything in the UK. They don't like me because I hold this judgment.
While Nigel's demands would go ignored by mainstream outlets, a few independent news organizations and vocal conspiracy bloggers wrote about Nigel's video over the following few days. These writers all sourced the same single video of Nigel, uncritically repeating his claims and calling for his story to be amplified by their readers. Many of those engaging with Nigel used their blog post or article to include other interests, though all related to government abuse or overreach in some way. Notably, the UK column offered him an hour and 10-minute long interview 2 weeks after his video was published, where he repeated the same talking points, though he also made a handful of new claims, including that in the intervening weeks he had been labeled an international terrorist, that the UK military had attempted unsuccessfully to arrest him,
What?
that they had broken down the door at his home.
I don't have an
Death
Insta.
threats through phone calls,
No.
emails, and blog posts. He stated that he was advised to move out of the country, which he claimed to have done. He also claimed that he was being actively tracked by both the Security Service and the Secret Intelligence Service of the United Kingdom, also known as MI5 and MI6 respectively. While he announced that he was able to provide evidence to anyone who asked for it, no publicly accessible records of this evidence appear to survive. At first, the response seemed to have been extremely pleasing to Nigel. He began writing thousands of words in the comments of some of the blogs sharing his story, stating that he was publishing these writings in multiple locations to ensure their survival into the future. Much of these were Nigel reiterating his certainty in his legal correctness and attacking those who he believed to be in violation of his interpretation of the law. He claimed to be receiving over 1,000 emails per day from similarly beleaguered families, and an online petition that he shared received 268 signatures. As the months passed, talk of Nigel quickly diminished, though he himself was apparently still vocal in the now lost Facebook group he made for his cause. In April, 1 month after his video with Eddie the Cat 7, Nigel posted a copy of a letter that he claims he sent to Queen Elizabeth II, in which he asks her why she, quote, authorized the officers of your courts to break the law. Your family courts have tried everything possible to stop me enforcing my judgment. I have been lied to, and I have had my civil rights abused against my right as laid down in the Magna Carta. End quote. Beyond this, he made several new claims, including that he was injected with anthrax during his time in the Royal Navy. Contradicting his video, he admits that he indeed is British, though he expresses his dismay at this fact and states that he wishes to have his United Kingdom passport revoked. However, while many fringe bloggers briefly took up the cause of Nigel, not all of them were supportive. One of the conspiracy bloggers in this social circle was Sharon Ann Zaki, a New World Order and Freemason enthusiast, and after listening to Nigel's interviews and videos and reading his posts, she had come to a profoundly different conclusion. In a 119-page document, she makes clear her belief that, rather than being a father fighting for custody of his child, Nigel was actually a bad actor working with the New World Order and the Freemasons in order to discredit bloggers like herself by making them appear mad. Quote, truthers who overdo it do not do the anti-NWO army any favors, as we can all be dismissed as crazy conspiracy theorists by the people we seek to expose. That, of course, is the intention of the controlled opposition agents. End quote. She continually points out what she believes to be inconsistencies in Nigel's story and frequently accuses him of outright lying while continually offering evidence that, according to her, supports her belief that Nigel is doubtlessly a part of the Freemason cabal. Alongside criticizing perceived inconsistencies in his story, she references another video from Nigel, also posted to the Eddie the Cat 7 YouTube channel that has since been made private, titled Nigel Cooper's Public Statement, published on April 3, 2013. Allegedly, this video was a statement to be presented to a UK judge as part of the attempt to reclaim his daughter. While her summary is far from comprehensive, Sharon does share several notable details from this statement. According to her, late into the video, Nigel claims that Gail kicked him out of the house in January of 2011 for an unspecified amount of time, which may have been related to a violent incident. Quote, at 137, something like a bit of truth emerges. Cooper admits to being a bit violent towards Gail after she threatened that he will never see again. He accuses Gail of making absurd and dreadful allegations, that he's sexually perverted, a liar, violent, end quote. Nigel also, according to Sharon, was, quote, on mind-numbing antipsychotic drugs as a result of an accident. This isn't mentioned anywhere else. He says for the next 6 weeks he's all alone and he did nothing. No work, no socialization. He says he meets with an old friend and cries on her shoulder. She asks him if he's big enough to fight back. Oh God, someone pass me a puke bucket. Throughout the video, he cries crocodile tears, and he's constantly banging on about how vile Gail is, that she's constantly drunk, on drugs, violent, that she spends all his money, is always lying to him, that she's had too many affairs. Strange that he didn't videotape some hard evidence of this. This evil woman lets regularly phone her father and Skype chat with him, though. He says he was a coward and blackmailed by porn pickies that Gail took of him. Yeah, right. End quote. Sharon also describes the state in which Nigel found his daughter when she visited him for Christmas in December, including numerous obvious health problems and inappropriate dress, though details are left vague. However, Sharon went farther than simply analyzing what evidence already existed. Testing Nigel's willingness to share evidence and the inconsistencies she believed she had found, she emailed him in February of 2014 with demands for more information. This entire exchange would later be published in the document, alongside many other emails that she sent to other people Nigel had named. Her first email opened with a request for Nigel to read a post that she had made on her blog, and it claimed that the people promoting Nigel's story, quote, have been proven to be lying shills. This means that your name is tarred by association. All of the things you accuse Gail and the UK of, I accuse you of. The truth about you is now published and will stand until you prove your story is true. End quote. She explains that she is attempting to purge the anti-NWO movement of traitors and implores him to, quote, find Jesus and ask for the courage to do what is right. Remarkably, Nigel answered the same day, though he clearly had not read Sharon's email in full or very carefully. He stated that all electronic evidence was thoroughly encrypted and that he would only allow anyone to see it if they brought an officer with a camera to ensure the evidence's safety. In lieu of telling her how she can go about getting this evidence or supplying anything of substance, he attempts to placate her by asking why he would lie when he has sworn under oath. He also implored her to write to the Belgian judge who oversaw his case for any documents relating to it. The only things with which he directly supplied her were documents that he appears to have already made public. Nigel's response only incensed Sharon, who doubled down on her attacks. Beyond finding further evidence that Nigel was a Freemason, she also took frustration with the few documents that Nigel was willing to share. Quote, there is nothing new there, no proof of anything, just endless pages of more of your self-righteous, self-aggrandizement, OTT, repetitious sensationalism. This began an aggressive back and forth in which Nigel threatens Sharon legally for harassment and slander, though he couldn't refrain from continuing to respond to her attacks. In fact, after Sharon stopped emailing Nigel, he would send another email nearly a year and a half later to ridicule the document she had compiled. Quote, Zaki, I've reread your crock of shit that you wrote. Lots of questions to question you know fuck all about. Yes, publish this too. It will show how fucking dumb you are. End quote. However, in this exchange, Nigel shares that in the intervening months, he had renounced his cooperation with some of the bloggers who had helped amplify his story, though why he had done so appears to be lost. In the face of waning support and interest, Nigel's public online efforts to reclaim his daughter would diminish. Though it's unclear how long Nigel continued providing updates, if he did at all, a small amount of clarity would come from a project carried out by a number of experts in international law from the University of Aberdeen. This project was extremely focused, studying cases where Article 13 of the Hague Child Abduction Convention of 1980 was used to refuse the return of children across borders of European countries, and among those cases was Nigel's. Their summary would help clarify many elements of the case that had remained unclear from Nigel's surviving testimony. Citing the ruling of the Belgian court, confirmed Nigel's claim that his wife, Gail, had used bureaucratic trickery to leave Belgium with their daughter. Specifically, she had used an old document from Paul Cooper, the father of another of Gail's children, to convince the Belgian authorities that she had permission to leave with a different of her children, namely the child she had with Nigel, in a deliberate obfuscation. They further reaffirmed the claims about Gail's alcohol and drug abuse. They also mentioned that Nigel had been cited as having both, quote, psychiatric and physical health issues. However, the project also was able to provide further information. Believing that his daughter was receiving inadequate care, he remotely began proceedings in early 2012 to have her removed from Gail's care, and as a temporary measure, the courts moved her to her grandparents' house. In order to continue the proceedings, Nigel appeared in the English courts, but this proved to be a tremendous mistake. The judge who had first ruled against Nigel interpreted his appearance in an English court to be deference to the UK judgment over the Belgian judgment, practically destroying any chance that he would ever have to reclaim his daughter. Nigel desperately requested to have his applications for residence and contact with his daughter revoked so as to undo this ruling, but his request was denied. While they remained reserved in their assessment, the authors of the document offered clear sympathy for Nigel in the closing paragraph of one of the sections dedicated to his case. Quote, Mr. Cooper may have accepted the jurisdiction of the English court, but this case highlights the difficulties that are faced by litigants in this complicated system. Many applicants are not informed of the Article 11, 6 through 8 Brussels 2A procedure. They might not be given the correct legal advice, and they might not necessarily qualify for legal aid, as it is no longer automatic, so they are in a difficult position. This is particularly the case where one wrong move, such as participating in proceedings, immediately removes one of their remedies. It is also problematic that all the English decisions focus on the fact that Mr. Cooper consented to the removal, when it is clear from the Belgian decisions that this consent was deliberately forged by the mother. End quote. With diminishing allies and practically no hope of any legal recourse, Nigel would apparently fall more and more silent as the months passed, with little record of his posting anywhere remaining. But this would be far from the last time that the internet would hear from Nigel Cooper. After his struggle with the courts, a significant gap appears in Nigel's online activity. It's unclear how active he was on Facebook, but there are suggestions that he had been posting regularly on LinkedIn, and he claims to have had 4 or 5 different accounts banned by the website's moderation team. Why was left unspecified. At one point, he also directed a commenter to a post he made on Google Plus, a now defunct social media service. While most of the articles that Nigel published to LinkedIn were not preserved, his last profile was. Under the experience section, he wrote that he was a professional entrepreneur and that he was a principal consultant for NATO. The third entry was simply the abbreviation for doctor with a description. Oh, so many places. For education, he claimed that he received a PhD in physics and magnetology from the Open University, a higher education institution in the UK. However, given that his profile listed him as beginning his study there in 1973, it's likely that this was a cheeky way of declaring that he was an autodidact. The description stated that he, quote, saw the future. Under projects, he declared that he had made cold fusion and that, quote, it's free energy for everyone. He also claimed to have a patent for cold fusion, whose other inventors were listed as me, myself, and humanity. His other patent was for something he called perpetual energy transfer. Under organizations, he simply wrote, not one that you would recognize, oh yes. The posts on his page vary widely, with a mixture of personal and professional comments. One post read, quote, happy birthday to me, what a shit life I lead, surrounding by the idiots of mankind who can't see further than the money in their pocket. I hope you enjoy your day. End quote. During this time, either in late 2015 or 2016, Nigel would take on the moniker for which he would be known, Nigel Cheese. Why he chose this name appears to be lost. He would attempt to share videos of some of his inventions and scientific ideas through YouTube, including a device he called an electromagnetic intensifier, or EMI, which consisted of a wire running through a tube with magnets surrounding it, which he claimed could increase the speed of ions passing through the wire. This was attached to an aluminum antenna, which he claimed could capture the free ions in the atmosphere. He tried to show the efficacy of this technology by filming a pot balanced on top of an electromagnetic intensifier turned on its end. Inside of the pot was water with a tablespoon of salt.
Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, you're wanting to know, what is Dan's mental state and how he's feeling right now? Going by your cards, King of Cups in the primary position and reverse does show that right now it doesn't really seem like he wants to really connect with anyone, which does indicate that he's a little burnt out. Seven of Pentacles in the secondary position is showing that he is waiting for something to come up as well as for his social battery to recuperate. Ace of Swords in the final position in reverse does show that he has an intent to contact someone soon, but it does seem like he kind of needs to get a bit of a jump start. So, from what I'm gathering from this, it's going to take either a certain event or some kind of encouragement to get him back into the swing of things. Now, if you want to know more about what the future holds for Dan, as well as any issues that may come up, you can give me a call or send me a message. Mm.
Positive voltage off of an antenna just due to the fact that there's radio waves everywhere. If you're near like an AM tower or something, you can like pull an arc off of an antenna, which is pretty significant. Because it's not free, right? It's used. It's completing a circuit. It's just that someone else would be paying for it. So it's free in the monetary sense.
The ways in which he used his multimeter were also questionable.
Oh, he's abusing the hell out of that multimeter. He's using it in the most unprecedented of ways. Multimeters will just misread voltage potentials when you're reading it from the AC setting. You know, you'll pick up noise and stuff in the air that shows it wrong. And he literally has it connected to an antenna, so he's really going to be picking up noise. Why does he keep saying he loves showing you something and saying, look, it's doing this when it's not doing that in what he's showing you? Because he loves holding it. Look, it's oscillating and it's just a static field. Static magnets around something are going to induce any current in it. If they moved, it would.
Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, you're wanting to know if your partner is cheating on you. Going by your cards, the Eight of Cups in the primary position and reverse does show that right now they are struggling to come to terms with something between the two of you. There has been an event that they've been struggling to get over. Ten of Cups in the secondary position and reverse also shows that when it comes to them finding stability and comfort, that they haven't really found it between the two of you. So it does seem like they've been outsourcing a bit with someone, which Ace of Swords in the final position kind of just confirms that by showing that currently they do seem to be venting and sharing their deepest emotions and conflicts with someone else right now. So, from what I'm seeing, it does seem like they are in contact with someone who hasn't been pre approved by you. So, I would try to have a bit of a talk with them. Now, if you want to know more about what the future holds between the two of you, as well as any other issues that may come up, you can give me a call or send me a message.
Time being part of the same constant, given the fact that a constant forms a singularity of one and not of 1 plus 1. That is an accumulation, thus wrong. End quote. He also seemed to have begun working with others, at least temporarily, as he appears as a co-signee of a paper asserting the possibility of infinite energy and its delivery wirelessly. The paper declared that it would be illegal to, quote, stake a claim on this invention. By 2017, Nigel's frustrations were reaching their height. He believed that he had discovered infinite energy and proven it to the world, but nobody with the necessary capabilities was willing to make his dream a reality. In the comments to one of his posts, he added a postscript which reads in part, quote, "Yes, I built it. It is available today. The know-how, the drawings, the IPR, and patent. I am just waiting for a genuine investor who is not going to rip me off. The choice is, someone shows me genuine honesty, or the whole wood will continue to pay through the noise for something that is for free. Now, if anyone out there in La La Land, the so-called real world, wants this to happen for real, then all that person to do is make contact with me." End quote. And indeed, someone would make contact with him soon, promising to finally make Nigel's dreams of infinite energy a reality by providing the funding that he so desperately desired. In early 2018, a group going by Gaia Research launched a website touting that, quote, "You're the catalyst, Gaia is your vehicle, bringing zero-point energy to the world," and promising unlimited, unmetered energy. The declaration read in all capital letters that they were, quote, "the world's first infinite energy incubator. Gaia Research has created a pathway for the benevolent use of advanced technologies to help make our world a better place for all humanity." End quote. The remainder of the page repeated common conspiracy claims, including one popular in over Unity groups which states that Nikola Tesla had discovered infinite energy a century ago, and that world governments had forcibly suppressed the knowledge and would further suppress anyone who rediscovered this technology or tried to patent it. In order to work around this perceived obstacle, they were offering a new cryptocurrency, which they called ZPE Coin, named for the kind of energy they believed they were harvesting, called zero-point energy. While zero-point energy is a scientific concept in quantum mechanics, it's better known in the public consciousness as a shorthand for a nearly unlimited energy source, sometimes invoked in science fiction settings, with two notable examples being the strategy game Stellaris and the animated Pixar film The Incredibles. They claimed that a pre-sale in January had resulted in over $130,000 in revenue, but it could still be purchased at a 30% discount until the end of April. And once they sold 130,000 tokens, everyone's ZPE coin would be converted into a version which would be traded alongside others such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. Until then, all tokens would be tracked through Gaia's internal servers. However, there was a different kind of token which ZPE Coin more closely resembled. Shitcoins. Shitcoin is a term used both by supporters and detractors to describe cryptocurrencies with no utility, typically designed as classic pump and dump schemes in which the creator and their associates give themselves large amounts of the token, make it available for purchase, inflate the value through social engineering, then rapidly sell their holdings, draining the liquidity pool and disappearing with the majority of the money. ZPE Coin, however, distinguished itself by having a hypothetical utility. According to the Gaia website, ZPE Coin would be the only way to purchase all of the new infinite energy devices that they were developing, though they also promised a number of other amenities for holding the coin, such as early access to projects and something that they vaguely called experiential retreats. An entire page of the website was dedicated to ZPE Coin, which explained that those who purchased the token would be able to use dedicated services in order to exchange their coins for legal tender through their credit card, beginning in May. ZPE Coin also had its own website, which included much of the same information alongside a referral program, which promised a 6% kickback for those who managed to convince others to buy the token. These kickbacks would be paid in ZPE Coin. A frequently asked questions section included a remarkable claim that ZPE Coin would become the center of a new economic system. One question and answer topic read, quote, "What is the difference between ZPE Coin and other coins? ZPE Coin is underwritten by the receding $60 trillion annual petrodollar economy. ZPE Coin is the exclusive method of acquiring Gaia's Infinergy products. You must own ZPE Coin to get unlimited power Infinergy products. As worldwide purchasing power is diverted from the petrol-based economy to our new decentralized consumer-based economy, the intrinsic value of ZPE Coin will naturally increase." End quote. To help pitch these new infinite energy devices, multiple animations were made explaining the mission of Gaia and its perceived importance. These were uploaded to the YouTube channel of a phone and internet broker named Telephonet. Of note was an animated version of Nigel, who is referenced as a scientist and inventor working with Gaia. Many of these animations stress the importance of purchasing ZPE Coin to aid in their mission.
Gaia supports inventors who produce life-changing technologies and want to see their creations helping people. We love our inventors, even with all their quirks and eccentricities. That's why we've created a path to propel their tech from the garage into people's hands. We also make sure they're paid fairly for life, and they don't have to give up their intellectual property. When you buy ZPE Coin, you support the inventors who make our world a better place. Don't you agree it's time to support our inventors who want to help us with their ideas? So join us.
Their website touted 3 different technologies being researched by Gaia's scientists, though it appears their only scientist was Nigel. The first was what they called a quantum power cell, or QPC, which they described as, quote, "a simple yet effective zero-point energy device that will change the world forever. This energy industry interrupting technology will revolutionize how we access energy and, best of all, how we won't have to pay for it." End quote. The associated images suggested a device with a battery-shaped housing being used to charge a smartphone. The second device was alleged to be a water purification method, which worked, quote, "by changing the electromagnetic structure of fluids passing through our devices." And the third was a water pump, whose movement could also be used to produce electricity. While these latter two would remain vague, the quantum power cell would receive significant attention from Gaia, who published videos from Nigel showing off the device working.
Like really like suck my dick. Suck my dick. Suck my dick. From the back.
From the back.
You're doing my vibrations, you should be happy. Get extra time. I can continue to in my mind, nigga. Yeah, but now, it's not going my vibration, but that was in for a bit, you know. Keep molding. Not looking good, guys. Not looking. I'm gonna post a graph breakdown next, and you can see like how it's like. You guys are spiritually cornered. Just pay up already.
called clever science. It's not voodoo, it's called can do. It's not witchcraft, it's goddamn art. So please do not tell me that this is a battery.
Brother built a lemon battery, so you can actually do this at home. It's not free infinite energy by any stretch. It will deplete. There's actually a very good video on this by Electro Boom of how exactly a copper zinc battery works and how it steals the electrons and then moves them through the circuit, and eventually it depletes all the electrons, and then that's just how chemical batteries work. Then your battery is used up, and that's it. In rechargeable batteries, the materials are such that you can replenish the electron charge, but in your standard alkalines and your copper zincs, you can't. The magnets are doing nothing. It's just a copper zinc battery. You can do this with just the copper zinc with no magnets involved. It will not change the output whatsoever. The magnets are just holding it all together in his setup.
These material realities would come to be an insurmountable problem in the production of the quantum power cell. Eventually, both the Gaia and ZPE Coin websites would alter their descriptions of the project, with the status section on the latter reading, quote, "The QPC project was delayed in June 2018 for funding reasons. An issue arose with the wet paper design causing corrosion. Gaia engineers sought a non-corrosive replacement material. No suitable natural material was found, although many were tried. We sought the advice of a nano-engineering expert who quoted about $40,000 to develop a material, but could not guarantee it would work." End quote. This problem with corrosion can be explained by the natural processes of a chemical battery, as definitionally, the material would corrode as electrons were stolen from its component parts. No material would be sufficient to prevent this, as if it did, it would rob the quantum power cell of its only actual method of producing electricity. But by June, Nigel had apparently lost interest in the QPC and had moved on to a new energy-producing invention, the Radiant Power Panel. According to Nigel, this panel consisted of numerous LEDs placed in a tight configuration next to one another, and when he did so, it could not only take power from any light source, but also from what he called alternately scalar waves and background solar radiation. Notably, by this point, he had taken on assistants.
This is Nigel and Andrew from Gaia. What you can see here is a Generation 2 Radiant Power Panel. It was formed from the research we gained on the Generation 1, which was costed off the shelves. This was purposely designed to do one function. That is to take the background stellar radiation that is ambient across the planet and convert it into an energy source which goes along the red and black cable here.
So what he is doing is using an LED light panel as a bad solar panel. Something that is maybe not a well-known fact is that LEDs, they can be used as really bad light detectors because they're effectively really bad solar panels. They produce light at a p-n junction, similar to any silicon device. So if you pull the cap off of a big power transistor, that also works as a really shitty solar panel. That silicon junction is what a solar panel is. So shining a light at any of those junctions, if they're exposed in such a way that you can, is going to produce a small amount of voltage, even though they aren't laid out to be optimized like an actual power producing solar panel is.
However, the LED panel was only a part of a larger system. This would be combined with another device that he called a light bridge, which involved connecting numerous LEDs together in a sequence to dramatically increase the voltage of the electricity, which he would use to charge a battery. Despite his excitement, though, Nigel was operating under a severe misconception.
The misconception is people not knowing Ohm's law or understanding the difference between voltage and power. If you have something that takes 10 watts in and gets 100 watts out, that's a power gain. That's if you measure that on this mythical device, that would be a power gain, right? But if you have something, you can change voltage as much as you want because it's a balancing act with the current that it's capable of supplying. The main misunderstanding here, and like the thing that ties this all together, is your power equation, which is power equals P equals IV, I being current, V equals voltage. That will maintain the same no matter what. 5 volt at 1 amp is 5 watts. 10,000 volts at 0.5 milliamps is also 5 watts. You haven't gained any power. So someone DM'd me and said, I've invented this free power device that I think you can make. You're the only one that could pull it off. And their idea was basically take a 12 volt motor and hook it to a 120 volt generator, and you're going to get free power because the voltage is more. It would just convert it to a lower current, higher voltage type. And that's something that people get twisted a lot.
In order to show that it worked, he used a drill plugged into a battery that the panel had been charging.
Like so. And if we now draw. Does that prove a point?
After quietly removing the water pump inventions from the websites, they began touting yet another invention from Nigel, the electromagnetic inverter, a device that appears identical to the electromagnetic intensifier that he had shared 2 years earlier on his YouTube channel, claiming that they were, quote, designed to provide unlimited electricity required for commercial and industrial applications requiring high AC voltages. The page for the EMI on the ZP eCoin website touted that they believe the value of this technology to be $50 trillion, though how they arrived at this number isn't detailed. However, they were reticent to share too much information on it, writing that, quote, the EMI technology are being closely held due to its enormous power generation potential. The application of EMI installations must be closely vetted and monitored for beneficial uses only. End quote. By this point, however, it was becoming clear that not enough tokens have been sold to reach the milestone that would allow holders of ZP eCoin to trade their tokens on a blockchain, and no update on such had been made. This, however, was likely a blessing in disguise. In a July vulnerability report made by the American Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, hundreds of Ethereum tokens were identified as having a similar integer overflow vulnerability, which would allow the creators of the token to set the value of ZP eCoin in anyone's wallet to any number, as high or as low as they wished, largely defeating any advantage that blockchain technology might have offered. However, if any of this concerned Nigel, he made no show of it, as he continued to record videos for the Telefonet YouTube channel, including the lecture that would garner him the most attention. 1 + 1 = 1 the video, alien emoji. By this point, he had come to believe that the Royal Navy was ultimately the cause of him losing his daughter. In another of these videos, he clarifies that he wasn't working for Gaia, but rather he was volunteering for them, a technicality that he hoped would help him avoid taxation.
I work for a company called Gaia. I don't actually work. I give all my services free of charge. That's so Mr. Taxman can't come and fuck me. I don't work for money. I work for the greater good of humanity. I give all of my time, all of my expertise and knowledge for free for the greater good of humanity. Gaia, in their benevolence, have hosted a website. They have posted the costs of the equipment. They do so in a benevolent manner as a gift to humanity. The taxman can't charge benevolence.
Nigel's claim that he wasn't working for money was perhaps contradicted by Gaia's earnings and expenses report released early the following year. While Gaia fell significantly short of their funding goals through ZPE Coin, they still declared their funding round a success, writing, quote, "In 2018, Gaia sponsored a scientific team who discovered several methods of capturing raw ionic energy from the cosmos, thereby confirming its existence. That was step one. We also made great headway learning to convert this raw cosmic energy into a form humans can use, AC electricity." End quote. They were extremely optimistic about the coin's future, writing, quote, "ZPE Coin is guaranteed to increase 80% from $5 to $8 during 2019. Depending on performances, it might even double to $10 beginning in 2020. End quote. In another slide, they stated that April of 2019 would bring with it remarkable progress in its technologies. A later slide shows raw numbers. They claim that their total income, generated from the sale of ZPE Coin, totaled $154,418.80. Approximately $40,000 of that total was listed as going directly to Nigel, with a further $24,000 going to assistant engineers, and yet another nearly $25,000 going toward what they labeled various vendors for materials, tools, software, and services. A large portion of this money also went to administrative expenses, though the expertise and duties of those receiving the money went unspecified. And then, quite suddenly, Gaia would go completely silent. As the months passed with no updates, those hopeful for Nigel's inventions began leaving comments underneath Gaia's videos on the Telefonet YouTube channel, some hoping to make contact with Nigel to either acquire or assist in creating the inventions that would revolutionize the field of energy production and, by extension, dramatically advance human civilization. A comment from user Reiki Master WSB indicates that, by 16 months after their last video, the Gaia website was offline. Some of these hopeful parties would receive a reply over a year later from Greg Ottensmeyer, president of Telefonet and also listed as the president of Gaia on their annual report. Replying to one commenter, Ottensmeyer wrote unflatteringly of Nigel, quote, "Nigel abandoned the project in December 2019 after his extortion demand for $35,000 was not met. He has refused to communicate since that time. Unfortunately, I believe he took it as far as he could go and ultimately realized he could not achieve the promises he made. There is no other reasonable conclusion." End quote. In reply to another user asking about acquiring the red and blue boxes seen in Nigel's videos with the Radiant Power Panel, Ottensmeyer explained that, quote, "The red and blue boxes are not available because they were considered proprietary property of Dr. Nigel Cheese. However, I can tell you they were composed of breadboards with LED bulbs and a few other diodes. I wish I could help you more, but Cheese abandoned the project midstream and broke his promise to deliver working units after being paid thousands of dollars. Good luck." End quote. He also explained that Gaia was no longer accepting donations, though they were planning on reactivating their website. But by this point, Ottensmeyer had already moved on to other fringe beliefs and interests, making a post about the Akashic Records to his LinkedIn page in December of 2019. Gaia would post one final video from Nigel 2 years and 8 months after their first and only annual report, though Nigel's displeasure with Gaia was obvious. A disclaimer at the beginning distanced the group from Nigel's rhetoric, stating that, quote, "The content contained in the videos published on Gaia's channels are strictly the theories, opinions, and representations of the author only. Parental guidance is suggested, as some language may not be suitable for children." End quote. In this video, Nigel presents what appears to be his light bridge, a multimeter, and a clothing iron, which he refers to as a
fucking big thing. Now, if I can make them LEDs light up, it means I have a circuit through this. So I've got plugged off here. This is just for you, okay? So when I do that, I've got a circuit, and I've got a third of an amp. How does that sound? So it works, and it means with the correct engineering assistance, we can power any device. So there's no drop in voltage, none whatsoever. Okay? So those in Gaia who have been scratching their head saying, what the fuck? And should we really release any money to this technology? And no, we won't invest. We'll just keep you singing until you produce a couple of thousand gigawatts of power. We'll make you starve and suffer. We won't give
He
you
kind
any
of just
money,
wanted to.
but we'll just take all everybody's
He just
money off
wasn't
the
ready
table. We'll tell them
to
we're
have
investing it,
me
and we won't really
back in his
pay
life.
the people who need the money to do the work.
Or, yeah, because he clearly just didn't want to
So
do
as
the
you can
emotional
gather,
work of
I'm
talking
a
with
little
me
bit
about
pissed
stuff
off
and, like, you know.
with people who
But
are
it's almost
withholding
like
the
he
funds.
felt like I deserved something more valuable.
However,
I
it
don't
appears
know.
that by this point,
He's trying to
Gaia
think
had
of
mostly
something
disbanded, and only a few pages relating
He's
to
like, "Oh, just call me
ZPE
when
Coin
you want.
remain
Call me when I
online.
give."
As of the writing of this
Call me when you
video,
want
both the
something.
Gaia website and the ZPE Coin website remain a blank white page. But while Gaia would fold, Nigel would persist, albeit in a limited fashion. He continued his search for energy-producing devices with another unit that he appears to have invented in 2021, which he named PCAMS, alongside a team of unnamed engineers.
This is PCAMS.
Some type of gesture.
I wrote this presentation as an investor brief, and I've given this brief to many people over the last month or so.
Everybody likes gifts. Everybody
This
likes
device, much like his
gifts. I'm
electromagnetic
sorry, especially
intensifier,
considering
would
my
purportedly
birthday
multiply any
and
electrical
everything
energy
else
that he
leading up,
sent
like, yeah.
through it.
So,
Unlike his other devices, which he claimed were harvesting
so I don't
untapped
remember
energy,
everything.
he seemed to be claiming that this device created completely.
I don't really feel like there are any positive ones, but anyways, so for some reason, I don't know why I was just like, you know what, this guy's never gonna fucking reach out to me. I gotta be the one to initiate, like I have in the past. So anyways, I ended up calling him. I didn't even think he would answer, but he did. And we were just making small talk back and forth, whatever. And I asked him, like, why haven't you called me, this and that? And then, I don't know, something came up with, he's like, oh, well, and then the email came up when I had mentioned about me being pregnant and an abortion. That came up in conversation. And I said to him, well, you were there
New
for
energy
your
from nothing.
ex-girlfriend when she had a miscarriage, so why wouldn't you think to reach out to me when I said that I was having an abortion? I said I had a miscarriage too. And he just kind of went silent. And he didn't know what to say. He felt so guilty for not being there for me because I called him out on his shit. To say, why were you there for your ex-girlfriend, but you weren't there for me? I don't even know if his ex did have a miscarriage, but he said at one point he did take care of her. She was sick and he wouldn't tell me what it was. And I know I wasn't an ex or anything. So either way, yeah, and then for some reason he was just driving on his way home, and then I'll send you another voice note because it's going to cut out. So the fact that he said that, it just, to me, it makes me think like in reality, he's not really all that serious about her. And he's just kind of keeping her at arm's length as a surface level connection. Like, I think he's starting to pull back. Things are obviously happening between them. I don't know what, but like in my dream, they were like pretty much over, but she's still around because obviously he's getting some type of benefit to her being there. You know what I mean? So you obviously know more than I do. So again, I'd like to know what the hell that meant, but then after we hung up, whatever, I was like, you know what? No, I don't know. For some reason, I ended up going upstairs. So he was at this new place. Like, it was like a townhouse or apartment complex. I don't know. It was more of like a townhouse. So I don't know if he's actually moved yet or if he's in the process of moving, because he has to probably sell weight and stuff. I'm like, you don't really need to lose weight. Like, you're fine the way you are. And then for some reason, I pushed him on the bed. And I climbed on top of him like I normally do because I like how he's a big, like, grizzly bear and I'm just, like, short, you know? And, like, I tried to make him feel more desirable and stuff. And, like, you could tell he was kind of, like, I don't know, something was holding him back from being intimate with me because he knows it wasn't right. Because he knows he didn't do the work to deserve me again. But then he ended up saying, you know, just call me when you want a gift or something. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, he kind of just wanted to, he just wasn't ready to have me back in his life. Or, yeah, because he clearly just didn't want to do the emotional work of talking with me about stuff and, like, you know. But it's almost like he felt like I deserved something more valuable. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of different things in my head, but he's like, oh, just call me when you want a gift. Just call me when you want something. So it's like, it seems like he doesn't want to do the emotional work to fix our connection. And that he thinks like something like material is just going to make things better. Or he's going to try to come in and talk to me again with some type of gift, some type of gesture, because he knows I like gifts. Who the fuck doesn't like gifts? Like, really, I'm not gonna act like I'm just like some gold digging bitch. Everybody likes gifts. Everybody likes to be surprised with gifts. I'm sorry, especially considering what I did for his birthday and everything else leading up. Like, yeah. So I don't know if his like I don't know if he will ever talk to me again, if he's going to come in with a gift, or if it just means something else. And that's pretty much like the certain things that stood out to me in the dream. Also, I ended up getting my nails done, and all my nails fell off in the shower. So after I just got them done in my dreams, I don't know what the fuck that means too, but yeah, all these weird things happen. So if you can let me know if you know what the hell's going on, that's basically what happened last night. Miss you too.
sit here and describe the mechanics and the breadth of content. After extensive deliberation, the conclusion to which I came is the best way to describe it is to show it. So, I booted up Star Sector, started a fresh campaign, and played for about 5 hours. Here's a brief summary. Starting as an explorer, I took a look at the contract listings, but what interested me more was a pirate in a bar selling information on where to find a valuable blueprint. I accepted a few easy scanning contracts in the vicinity of my target, figuring that I could make some easy money along the way, and after fending off a small fleet of pirates, my confidence was
Welcome to the dark side.
Lock in a fiber-fueled internet deal from Sparklight and leap into hyperspeed. Visit sparklight.com.
Get one of these Jimmy John's sandwiches, chips, and a drink for $8.99. Choose Turkey Tom with all natural turkey or Pepe, smoked ham, and provolone. Delicious. The $8.99 meal deal for a limited time at Jimmy John's. Oh, that's good.
The Holy Ball, MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+. All right, here we go. The Skyward Cinematic Universe. There's outro. Oh, yeah, there's lots of that. I love this, by the way. Like the entire AI VTuber community, whatever you want to call it, the Skybrows community. Like, dude, everyone's getting so much better at AI. I love it. Like, I love it. I want so much more of this kind of stuff. So, like, I love this so much. Yeah, super, super excited by this. And I honestly can't think of that many troll idols. I just started trying. Dude, if I started trying and more people do it, awesome. I don't care. I don't care about, like, this. I don't care about being special or whatever, or originality. Like, if I can get more people to, like, troll and be funny and, like, push culture stuff, then, like, I'm not worried about the left doing it because they fucking suck at everything. Like, let's just be real. Like, anything they make is just garbage. So it's like, it's whatever. I'm not really worried about it. So yeah, but like, if other people do it, you know, on the right, then it's great because I'll get my message out more, right? So, you know, everything is behind that, like telos for me, right? Everything is stellar humanism. Like, if we get more people, then good. I don't really care, right? And this is, by the way, why I kind of tabled a lot of, like, I kind of was mad at people. Honestly, I was just being kind of a little bitch. Like, I'm just gonna be real, right? Because it's very human, right? It's very human to, like, when somebody upsets you, that you get mad at them, right? They upset you, you get mad at them, and, like, you hold a grudge. It's very human. And it's like, I realized that, like, this is pointless because this is against my own goals. So I just decided, you know, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna be nice to people, and if they want to be assholes to me, then that's up to them. Yeah, I'm not really worried about it anymore, right? And I thought, like, this was a good chance to, like, kind of implement that idea with the whole like idol arc thing. Like, it's a great chance, like, for a change, right? So I'm gonna do that. If more people want to do it, great. That's awesome. So, like, I love, like, all of these people doing all this AI stuff. Like, this is, like, so peak to me. I love it. Like, everybody, like, doing their best, like, helping each other. Like, it's so great. The future's looking bright, dude. Totally. Very PVD.
SLGBT, yeah, MAIMLSF, tuning, LTMRNND, learning.
Dude, I gotta say, though, Holy Ball, dude, your character is kind of busted. Like, you have no mouth, so it just, no matter what you do, it looks good. This is so fucked up. Like, you're fucking cheating, bro. This is cheating. This is cheating.
on the streets, running 40 it's a flop. Smuggle ops don't stop, man drops, not slops. Intellectual, clean, sweet, high paradox. Come to leave you on the language so they can.
Wait, what?
Intellectual, clean, sweet, high You are the language, so they can't hide in silence. Breaking down the walls, I'm committing verbal.
Wait a minute. Wait.
You are the language,
Hold on.
so they can't hide in silence. Breaking
Oh my god, it's so fucking quick.
down the walls, I'm committing verbal violence. Shocking like the dog, info like a CIO. They call themselves the one turning pronouns. Oh my god. Thank them, Caesar, Banker, air, Zip, Zim, Zerp, Song, gears, name gears, gears, adding more letters, only making things worse. They turn LGBT.
Yo, Julio, can we do like a long video, like a super video of me just watching all of these? You could do that. I just want to like put it up on the channel so that like everybody that made these videos like could like get some more reach. Can we do that? It's like all of them, and then maybe take out the rant I had earlier. I'll try to like stay on focus. All right? Yeah. Go
Self, unself, kid self, up self, mod self, all self, moon self, star self, one self, two self, red self,
Oh my god, dude. That's actually so funny. Like a fucking Dr. Seuss.
self, myself, 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 myself. You're more than your kids, learn to respect yourself. Stand as women and men, do it for that house self. YIIMO, IDC, RCYMIATP, 1K Con, IIRC, STFU, FAFO, EOP, LMI, WQT, SLGBTQQ, LMI, WQT, SLGBTQQ, LMI, SLGBTQ.
Really well done. That was great. Volleyball. Good shit. All right, let's look at some other ones here. We've got the Mushi one. All right, so now we're going into like kind of the that one counted that one. This one had Final in it. So this one counts too. This one totally counts too, right? Totally does. That's actually hilarious, dude. That's amazing. This is the one by Mushi here. A boy's dog. Oh wait, so this one isn't. Sorry, this one is another one that is not really a Leaflet cameo one, but this one's like probably Mushi said it was like about children, which is like kind of having children or something. I don't know. It was about something along those lines because like he was talking about, or I don't know. They were talking about the video that I made in relation to this. So let's see what it's about. Please read this video. It has very dark and uncomfortable themes. This could be considered political. Nothing is flushed in the show, though a lot is implied.
So the fact that he said that, it just
Okay. What the fuck? Lucy was right. This is dark. Put the sub. Oh, right. The subs. Right. I should have listened to that. The beginning, of course. Okay. This is the default. Dude, this kind of shit actually happens though. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that video where there was this video that I'm trying to remember like exactly what happened in the video, but there was like there's a little boy, and the little boy was like kind of dressed up like a girl, and then they basically said that they didn't want to do it. Like they were like on camera, and then the little boy said like they didn't want to do this, and then the mother like glared at them like in the middle of the video. I remember seeing it and thinking it was like awful. You know what the video is? Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about then. Eventually, this character ends up owning a fast food chain. I don't know if you guys knew that. SMG Floor. Yeah. Dude, she's an autistic tomboy. Only an autistic tomboy would do this. Dude, this shot, holy crap. Dude, this is like some, dude, this monster, bro, is scary. Not want to see me anymore. What the fuck, man? I know. That's crazy. Lauren contacts evil preys on innocence. The children need protection. Visuals down of them to see dance too, dude. See that's OP. Kling is good for some high action stuff. I don't know if like they updated it, but that's amazing. Really, really creepy. This is like one thing I really like about Mushi's work, and if you like AI stuff, like you definitely should be following Mushi. Mushi makes stuff that's very like the story behind it, right? It's very like the world's a crowd. That's what it feels like. You know, there are a lot more than just you know, a celebration of, you know, anti-woke stuff. It's I love it. Okay, next one we've got My Words by Close Up Cop. Warning flashlights. Oh dear. Oh, it's a plushie.
These are my words. I can't stay quiet anymore. Choked, screaming.
See, people are getting better with cameras. Like, camera is the key, by the way. Like, if you're gonna do any AI stuff, camera control is really, really important.
I lay inside, but now the time has come.
Oh God, this is Tesla. Oh shit. Yo.
I see the crack that's forming. Just a chink, the armor falls away. That shifting.
Oh my God, Tony.
The grand illusion fray.
I want to buy a sign from those from
Keep your head down. You cry out empathy, a superb production.
Over 250 years ago, we didn't like the Texas, so we dumped the team. Now with the Ram Declaration of Deals, we're pledging our allegiance to the American Brazilians. System-wide talks like 2026 models or more countries. Valley Mile. That's Ram.
Or purchase and get 2.9% financing for 72 months and $3,500 bonus cash allowance. And Arclatex residents get $750 bonus cash on these 2026 Ram 1500 models. See your Arclatex Ram dealer.
Ribeye steaks, drumsticks, Atlantic salmon.
Covering no read for
They want to take this place from us. My family is in danger. My wife is lost to me, and I don't have time.
Zepbound. Watch this. Watch this. Zepbound is the first and only prescription medicine for moderate to severe obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA, in adults with obesity. A treatment that helps reduce breathing interruptions during sleep. After just a year, many taking it had no OSA symptoms. Don't share needles or pens, or reuse needles. Don't take an allergic to, or if you or someone in your family had MTC or MEN2. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. Stop Zepbound and call your doctor if you have severe stomach pain or serious allergic reaction. Severe side effects may include inflamed pancreas or gallbladder problems. Tell your doctor if you experience vision changes before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. If you're nursing, pregnant, breastfeeding, taking Zepbound with a sulfonylurea may cause low motion. Side effects include which can cause dehydration and worsen kidney problems. Ask your doctor about Zepbound, a game-changing treatment for OSA. Zepbound. Watch this. Watch this.
But now my